Welcome back to the Checkered Flags and Money Bags podcast. I am your host, Phil Craig. In this edition, we will preview this week's race at Martinsville. Before that, let's go back and take a look at the results from last week at Richmond International Raceway. Pretty good week overall on the picks. We did get the winner with Hamlin and ended up with a nice little profit on the end of the day. If I could have just had a little bit better results from Bowman and not quite so good results from Elliott, who I did fade in a few of my head-to-head matchups, could have had a really, really good day. So let's go back and take a look at them overall here. So those EW bets that I had, the win or top four finish, cashed in on all of them, which was just incredible. We had Larson, Truex, and Hamlin on those. Hamlin obviously got the win, so I doubled up on him with the win and the top four finish together. Got the top four finish from Truex and from Larson as well. Logano top 10. Nailed that one. Was really surprised that I was able to get plus money on that, as well as he runs there at Richmond. And then we had the Bell, Hamlin, Truex trio all to finish top 10. Cashed in on that one as well. And then head-to-heads, we had Larson beating Byron, Logano over Reddick, Larson beating Buescher, and Keselowski as well over Reddick. Like I said, 14% profit on the day, giving us a grand total of 5% profit on the season. Finally getting into the good numbers and looking to build on that even more this week here at Martinsville. So what do we got here at Martinsville? Half-mile paperclip shaped racetrack. It is the shortest track on the circuit that they run all season long. Flat track. I don't even know if there's any banking at all in the corners. It doesn't look like it from TV. It might be a couple percent, but pretty much a flat racetrack. You got the curb on the inside, so if they get too close, cutting the corner, hit that curb, that'll really do a lot of damage to their race car. So they got to be careful of that. But what first thing I think of when it comes to Martinsville is always Hendrick Motorsports. From my earliest days, being a fan all the way up until now, it just, all through the 90s, the 2000s, and even into the teens, it just seemed like it was either Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon that was just dominating the race, taking home the checkered flag and getting that most prized trophy in the entire circuit, which is that grandfather clock. So it just seems like a Hendrick driver always seems to be the favorite. 28 wins that they have amassed at this track, which is just unbelievable. And then this weekend especially, they are celebrating their 40th anniversary of racing with that first win by Jeff Bodine back in 1984. So there just always seems to be some kind of magic whenever with Hendrick whenever it comes to one of these special races. Some special anniversary, it just seems like they always come out on top, and that's what I'm going to be looking for this week once again. So like I said, in the past it was always Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon, but most recently all of them have had success, which is something that's a little different. Out of the last 7 races here at this track, each of their current 4 drivers has taken home the checkered flag. So that makes it a little more difficult if you want to bet on the winner, because all 4 of them have had some success here. Most recently, it's been Kyle Larson. His last 3 finishes here, a 2nd, a 1st, and a 6th place in the race last fall. So he is always up there contending for the win, and is the most likely to take home the checkered flag in my book. And then we just got done with qualifying just a few minutes ago, and of course Larson is sitting on the pole for tomorrow's race. However, the sports books leading up to this weekend, before practice and qualifying, they really like Denny Hamlin once again. And what's not to like? There's been two short track races so far this year with Bristol and Richmond. Denny Hamlin has gone to victory lane in each of those two races. So can't blame the books there for being hot, or for leaning towards Denny Hamlin for the win there. Hamlin's last three races at Martinsville, a fifth, a fourth, and a third. So he's been red hot here as well. Not quite getting to victory lane just yet, but not. Well, he has many wins in the past, but not just recently. And also another thing that is in his favor, Larson last year won Richmond and then went on to win this race at Martinsville. So we'll see if Denny, who has won each of the last two short tracks races, can indeed keep that streak going and come into Martinsville this weekend to get the victory. Rounding out the top five, the favorites in the books, you got Truex, Bell, Larson, and Blaney. All four very good at this track. Truex, not so much success lately here in this car, but in the Gen 6 car, he really had some great numbers here. As soon as he came to Gibbs, he won 3 of the first 5 races here at Martinsville. So coming to making that switch over to JGR, huge benefit for him in his short track success. And then since they've gone to the Gen 7 car, his results here, 22nd, 20th, both in that miserable season that he had 2 years ago, where he just could not get anything going. But since then, last year rebounded it with a 3rd and a 12th place finish in the 2 races there. So starting to turn it back around and get back to where he was before. A lot of drivers have had a difficult time either overall or at certain tracks with this Gen 7 car. A lot of them have talked about, including Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch, about how they've really had to change their driving style with this car, because they just cannot drive this car the same way that they did the Gen 6. And that's why some of these guys who were never in the Gen 6 car for very long or not at all, never developed the habits of that car and are having a much easier time with this Gen 7 car. Another thing that looks good for Truex coming into this race is he also has had great runs at both Bristol and Richmond. So he is liking, as Hamlin has, the this new Toyota Camry that they're bringing to the short tracks this year. Let's see. They have Christopher Bell. He is kind of an outlier because he is one that has not had a lot of time in the Gen 6 car, but really has not had a lot of success in this the Gen 7 car at this track. He's kind of I'll just show you here. His results in the last 4 races here, a 20th and then a 1st. Great improvement there. And then back to a 16th and then a 17th. So these tracks that have 2 races a year, some of them are completely different. And this is one of those places. And in Martinsville, like the spring race, it's going to be nice and cool. I don't know what the temperatures are exactly, probably 50s, 60s maybe for this race. So I don't expect this tire to lay down in rubber, a lot of rubber, and rubber up that track too much. This tire is probably not going to fall off at all, so it's going to be a boring race. But then you get to that race in the fall where it's nice and hot. The track takes in that rubber and gets it nice and slick in the corners. It makes it a little more difficult for the guys to get through there. So that's what Bell has done. He's been really good in that fall race in the playoff time, but has not had the success in the spring race. So, and I believe he is starting 20 back in the 20s, maybe closer to 30th for this race. So track position very important, very difficult to pass at this track. They're going to have, if they're going to get up near the front, they're going to have to use some type of strategy that is different than the leaders in order to get up there. Ryan Blaney, I really like him in this race. Last four finishes 4, 3, 7, and 1 in this car. Getting that win heading into the leading him to the championship at Phoenix last year. He is tied for the best average finish at Martinsville among all drivers in this Gen 7 car. He doesn't get up front and lead a whole ton of laps, but he does stay consistently up there inside that top 5. And he is tied with none other than his own teammate, Joey Logano, for that top spot. Logano a second, a sixth, another second, and a fifth. So second place 2 years in a row in this race. Look for him to be really eager and really anxious to jump up there and get that win, especially with the way that he's been improving the last few weeks after that awful start to the season. I believe he's just outside, about 3 or 4 spots outside of the playoff picture right now. So getting another top 5 finish, possibly even a victory to secure his spot in the playoffs is what that team would really love to get. Again, much like Blaney, he doesn't lead a lot of laps. The lap leaders here at this track are usually Hamlin or Kyle Larson. I think Chase Elliott's got quite a few laps led here among the top guys recently. So look for those guys to be the ones up there. Chase Elliott starting in the second row this week. That team, another one that is very hungry for a victory, getting back to victory lane where they have not been in quite some time. Okay, a couple other drivers that I like. Again, Elliott, he's finished 10th 3 out of the last 4 races at this track. So consistently up there around that top 10. Definitely looking to have a better finish this weekend. And like I said, they really want to get to victory lane bad. Chase Briscoe is another one that has really had a lot of success. A ninth, a fifth, and a fourth. So a consistent top 10 guy, and you can actually get plus money for him. Right? Well, you could before practice anyhow. Hopefully that number still stays pretty close to it for some of you guys if you want to jump on that still. Drivers that you want to fade at this track. These are some big ones. Kyle Busch, just some awful numbers at this track. A 7th, 29th, 21st, and 27th in his last 4 races here. Surprisingly, he did qualify pretty well. He's just outside the top 10 in that 11th spot. But those guys just have been having some tough times on pit road. Any kind of penalty at this racetrack is really going to hurt you badly. It's probably going to put you a couple of laps down. And with the long green flag runs that we tend to see at this track, it's going to make it tough to get those laps back and get that lucky dog or a wave around if there is a yellow flag that pops out. Other guys to fade, Tyler Reddick. Absolutely terrible at this track. Not very good at any of the short tracks, really. But this track here, 18, 35, 22, and 26 in his last 4 races here. And then the RFK guys. Brad had success at this track back when he was with Penske, and I believe I may have even said something along those similar lines last week for Richmond, but just has not gotten there with with RFK yet, although they are, like I said, they are improving. Obviously, everybody sees that. Where's Brad at? 17, 36, 24, and 33 in his last 4 trips here. So not a good place for him. I'm sure he is looking forward to turning that around. He was not in the top 10 for qualifying. I'm not sure where he ended up getting a starting position. But Buscher as well, not having very good success here. 15, 24, 14, and he did get an 8th last fall, but that is the only thing close to any kind of success for either one of those drivers here at Martinsville. Okay, so let's take a look at what bets I do like for this weekend. These are all pre-practice and qualifying numbers. So if you can't find these numbers after qualifying, that is a possibility depending on what success or lack of success. Maybe the numbers are even better afterwards. For the win, like I said, I do like Larson. And you can get him before practice at like the number I got him at 9-1, Larson. I got him for that win or top 4. Also Denny Hamlin at plus 400 at the with the EW bet. 2 others as well, Logano and Blaney both. 11-1 and 9-1 respectively. The top 10s, like I said, I like Briscoe even money prior to. He did have a good qualifying run. He is firing off 5th, so that number may be probably going to be closer to the minus 150 range now. So if you didn't get on that yet, that number might really just be gone. Same with Chase Elliott, starting off 3rd. He was at a minus 110 prior to qualifying, so that number as well probably going to be closer to the minus 2 to minus 300. Actually, I only found that on Bet365 at minus 110. Everybody else was around minus 180 to minus 200 for him. So I was really shocked to see that, and so I did jump on that quickly before that number disappeared. Okay. Other bets I like. We got Elliott over Keselowski head-to-head at minus 110. Larson over Bell at minus 105. Bowman over Reddick at minus 115. Bowman over Wallace at plus 115. And Briscoe over Elliott at plus 130. Obviously, that Elliott one looking a little more tight as Elliott had the better qualifying run over Briscoe, but they were both pretty close, and I did get plus money on that. Plus the Briscoe over Elliott is at plus 130, and the Bowman over Wallace at plus 115. I actually took those two and parlayed them at plus 394. So doing something a little different with that one. Hendricks at plus 300 I like for the winning team. Like I said, the magic of Hendrick when it comes to some type of special number, they just seem to be able to get it done. And what else we got? Chevy to win. I'm piling on. I think Kyle Larson takes it home and just cashes all these bets for me all at once. Which can be risky, yes, I know, because if he blows a tire, gets put in the wall, has a bad pit stop, it could completely take him out of the race. But I'm going for it. Another group bet that I like, Briscoe this week over Keselowski, Buscher, and Elliott. So I actually have Briscoe beating Elliott in 2 different bets. This is at plus 350. group bet, and I just like the consistency that Briscoe has at this track, which has been much better than those other three guys. And then I also had a Briscoe over Busher at minus 115. And then this week I had one fun bet that I just wanted to jump on, and that's the drivers not completing 200 laps. Over under is 0.5. So will anybody at all not complete 200 laps? This is a plus 150 bet. I took the under. It has only happened 3 times recently where a driver has gone out prior to, and 2 of those 3 times it was BJ McLeod. Guess what, folks? No BJ McLeod in this race this week, and nobody really liked him either. The bottom feeders that we've had in recent years with Spire and Rick Ware Racing, those 2 teams are much better than what the equipment that BJ McLeod has been putting out on the track in recent years. The only other one was a Tyler Reddick who got caught up in a crash. So as long as we can stay wreck free for the first 200 laps, or just not have somebody wreck really bad, hopefully that one will cash as well. Alrighty, so at this time it is our favorite guest picker coming on in. She's back this week. Come on in, Olivia. Alrighty. Okay. This week we're running at the shortest track on the circuit. It is Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. It's shaped like a paper clip. You look at a paper clip and what that looks like, just the perfect oval shape. That's exactly what this track looks like. We got some broken glasses this week. Sorry, folks. So that's why she looks a little disheveled. There we go. Okay. So what do you think? Who's going to go to victory lane this week?
Byron.
William Byron? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. He is in that Hendrick camp, who I think is going to win the race this week, although he's the only one out of the 4 drivers who's not starting in the top 10. So not the best qualifying, but we'll see if he can get his way up there with strategy and get to victory lane. Alrighty. Good to have you back this week on the episode. I'm sure people will be happy to see you back. All right, folks. Good luck with your bets this week, and go get that bag.
Bye.